Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is extremely overrated.
I've got 5 good reasons for you to shut up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Motherfucker! See, I be begging on niggas with rap and voodoo. No slack for you fools. If you ain't getting the message, I slap it through you. My ass is too cool, tracks is brutal. What the hell?
Welcome back to another edition of Unpopular Comic Book Movie Opinions. I put out a post asking you guys for your unpopular opinions and hot takes on comic book movies and TV shows, and we got a decent amount of replies. So I went through and picked out the ones that are more interesting and unique, and ones that we haven't covered before in this series. And these are the ones that I selected, so sit back, relax, and let's take a look at what you guys came up with. Very unpopular opinion. Thor the Dark World was better than Ragnarok. The Dark World had a better story, it was more serious, the action scenes were better, and characters were a lot better. Ragnarok was boring as hell to watch, felt like a worse version of Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't like how they portrayed Thor in the film, jokes were flat, Hela was wasted potential, the action scenes were boring, and like you said before, it was just a worse repeat of everything Thor went through with the first film. That definitely is an unpopular opinion. I always consider The Dark World one of the most disappointing and bland MCU films. I mean, outside of a few decent action scenes and all Loki scenes, I don't really see much value in the movie. Although when compared to Ragnarok, I do understand why they changed Thor. I think Ragnarok is one of the funnier MCU films, like it can be a legit comedy. But I don't like about Ragnarok is what most people don't like about it, is how much they changed the characters. And it made a giant joke out of the actual Ragnarok event that would have been epic to see on screen. Although when compared to The Dark World, I'm not sure which one I would rather watch. Terrence Howard had more on-screen chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. than Don Cheadle. I actually just recently rewatched Iron Man 1, and I agree. Terrence Howard and Robert Downey Jr. worked really well on screen together. And even though Don Cheadle's first appearance in Iron Man 2 was a little rough, later on down the road in future films, they eventually had way better chemistry. They should have given Black Widow a solo movie before her death. That's not unpopular at all, trust me, everybody agrees. Batman Begins is the best Batman film to date. Yes, better than The Dark Knight. I rewatched them all recently, and I gotta say, it's definitely better than I remembered. But the best of all time? Nah. Green Lantern could have been great, if they used an actual suit and a good script. Yeah, I agree. They had Ryan Reynolds, who was a great lead, but the whole movie felt very basic and generic. And also, I think a full CGI suit can work because most superhero movies do that now. I mean, by the time Green Lantern came out, there were already 2 Iron Man movies, and there were several scenes where the suit was just fully CGI. Problem was, the CGI just didn't look that good in the movie in general. The DCEU shouldn't be rebooted immediately, but they should cancel it and just make a new one in the mid-2030s. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to wait that long to use these characters, especially if there's money to be made. And as a fan, it would suck to wait that long. We got a few opinions here, but we're only going to use the first one. Netflix's Daredevil, along with The Punisher and Luke Cage, are better than the Avenger movies. Those 3 shows are pretty damn great, with Daredevil possibly being the best superhero TV show ever. Possibly, I haven't watched Doom Patrol yet. I mean, I definitely think those shows are better than The Age of Ultron, and better than the first Avengers, but I wouldn't be so certain about Infinity War. What about Endgame? What about Endgame? Damn! The Amazing Spider-Man universe had the potential to be a cinematic universe that would have rivaled the MCU and DCEU if Sony would have just let Webb do his own thing. Yeah, Webb got his movies fucking butchered by Sony. And I agree, I was really looking forward to Sony's cinematic universe that will involve all the Spider-Man characters and villains. I mean, they were trying to set up the Sinister Six. Not to mention, they wanted to give a bunch of villains their solo movies years ago. Hell, they're kinda doing it now with Venom, Venom 2, and now Morbius. We got 2 here, but we're gonna go with the second one. James Wan or Andy Muschietti would be perfect for a Spawn film. Oh yeah, I think they would be too. They're both horror directors, so I think either one could adapt a darker character like Spawn no problem. Superman Returns wasn't that bad now that I think of it. I actually did a video about it, and I don't think it's bad, I just think it's very safe. And it feels like a retread of the Christopher Reeve Superman films. Captain America the Winter Soldier is not as good as you remember. The film has a great deal of cool factor, and it's damn entertaining, but when you really think about it, there's a ton of things that don't make any sense. Honestly, it's been a few years since I've seen it, so I gotta give it a rewatch to see if it's as good as I remember. My oh my, would you look at the time. It's time to take a peek and see who left me the best clickbait title to use. Come, let's see what they left for me.
There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
Hold up. Okay, folks. Hypothetically, you're a snowflake, I'm your enemy. We debate, you try to get the best of me, but you get destroyed, and then I move to Tennessee. My wife is a doctor who can't get a wop, but it's only because she isn't a thought. Can't you get wet? No, she cannot. This is the reason I'm spitting a lot.
No, these simply won't do. I need something. Something spicy. Juicy even. This is it. It's beautiful.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I didn't like the fact that the Justice League literally executed Steppenwolf. Someone actually replied with a comment that I agree with. Well, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are warriors, Superman just punched them, and Flash and Bats did nothing, so I'm fine with it. Not like they could have put him in Blackgate. Yeah, pretty much. Plus, a threat as big and strong as Steppenwolf, how else are you supposed to stop him, really? Zack Snyder Justice League has one massive negative. It has made me lose interest in future DC movies, knowing they won't follow on from it. The example is how The Flash in the upcoming Solo movie will feel like a downgrade from the guy who ran back in time and saved the world. And canonically, all the guy did was just push a truck and find East. Yeah, that's really disappointing. And hell, since DC is doing the multiverse, there's literally no reason why the Snyderverse can't exist alongside the main line of movies now. BVS Ultimate Edition is still better than Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League is a great movie, one of my favorite comic book movies ever, but BVS is superior. Very closely matched though. Yeah, for me personally, BVS Ultimate Edition is possibly one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. And I love the Snyder Cut, it was great. But I think BVS feels more like a Snyder film, which is probably why I like it more. I don't know if this counts, but Transformers 2007 is an underrated gem. It doesn't count, but I agree. I think the movie is kind of unintentionally hilarious, or maybe intentionally hilarious. Michael Bay is an interesting guy. I think all the Transformers films are really entertaining to some degree. Batman Returns is the greatest comic book movie ever made. Yeah, I said it, come at me. Well, BVS is the greatest comic book movie ever made, so jot that down. But when it comes to the Burton Batman movies, I actually prefer 89 Batman. Road to Perdition is the greatest comic book movie ever made, and yes, it's a comic book movie. Turns out it is, I did not know that. It's a really good movie. I just watched Under the Red Hood for the first time, and I was pretty underwhelmed. That's the only animated DC film I've watched. It's supposed to be the best Batman one. Are you sure you watched the right one?
What link? Did you get the right link?
No, it's a very good movie, but I think fans have overhyped it the past couple of years. Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home are the worst Spider-Man movies. I believe Spider-Man has no bad movies. They're all good in their own way. Some better than others, though. Although Far From Home is definitely one of my least favorite Spider-Man movies. Don't really have time to elaborate on it, but basically the movie kind of frustrates me. Although I did really enjoy Homecoming. The New Mutants movie is good. And a parallel universe. Yeet, got ourselves a fucking comedian here. Superman and Lois series is underrated. Now I've actually been catching up on that show, and it's pretty good. I mean, it almost doesn't feel like a CW show. I seriously think for season 2 they gotta like up the budget or something like that to give it a nice high production value because it's pretty good. And most people are just writing it off because it's a CW show. Hell, I did until I watched the first couple episodes. Gotham is the best comic book show. I mean, I watched the first couple seasons of Gotham and it was really good, but then I kind of stopped watching it because I kind of got bored. I plan to finish it eventually. Vulture has a point though. Iron Man, more like Fireman Man's, got him. Did all the jokesters decide to come out today? Doctor Strange is an underrated MCU movie. I literally always forget about the movie when I think of the MCU. Even though I think the story itself is pretty basic and it has a very forgettable villain and conflict, I do think visually it's probably one of the best looking MCU movies. Like the way it twists and messes with reality, it looks really cool. I think that the Amazing Spider-Man film is better than the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy.
I don't like this, man. I just don't like this at all.
Motherfucker!
I like how they adapted Taskmaster and Black Widow. I like how you adapted these nuts on your chin. I'm gay. I really like the Avengers Age of Ultron.
That's a little gay.
Superman Red Sun and Superman Man of Tomorrow are way better than Justice League Dark movies. Yeah, I prefer those two over the Justice League Dark movies, but I think they're all pretty good. I think Titan Season 3 is going to be one of the best superhero TV seasons of all time. Just you wait.
Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline.
Krypton series deserves more love. I actually completely forgot about that, mainly because it's on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I don't watch the Sci-Fi Channel like at all. I know a friend of mine was really into it. Have you guys seen Krypton? Leave a comment, let me know what you think of it. Joker is the best comic book movie of the past decade. No sir, we got the best comic book movie in 2016, and we didn't realize what we had until it was gone. But in all seriousness, Joker is pretty good. Best comic book movie of the decade? I'm not sure about that. Let me know, what is the best comic book movie of the past decade? That's gonna do for all your unpopular opinions. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. And go ahead and leave a comment, let me know what is your unpopular opinion or hot take. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you next time.
Oh, no. You see, the child porn, it was just a goof. It was just for laughs, you know? Why aren't you laughing?